I gotta pee. Sorry, we're live. Um, hi. We just got through watching, to me, a very good movie, Ordinary People. I see
It is a very
something
good
new in
movie.
it every time. It's one of those classics that there's just layers and layers to it that you can watch it an infinite number of times and still get something out of it. Um, so we were gonna talk about that and maybe about narcissism because that's one of the main themes of the movie. The
Mhm.
the other theme that I like, in addition to the mental health stuff, like the scenes with the psychiatrist, I really enjoy, is the dad. Like it's so good to see a male character that's not presented as toxic, is not a doofus or an idiot or the antagonist somehow.
Yeah.
Like that was a positive. Like if men's mental health is working toward anything, hopefully it's working toward helping them to be more like this dad character.
Yeah. I think he's good. I'll admit, I've seen the movie. I've seen the movie before. And but before the movie started, I this morning I went to the doctor. They gave me a new medication I wouldn't picked up earlier, and it made me really sleepy. And I know an awful bit for the movie. It wasn't the movie's fault. It's absolutely not the movie's fault at all. It's a good movie, and I was really into it. But I nodded off like 20 minutes of the movie in the middle, so I apologize for
Oh,
that. I woke up kind of, I didn't even realize what happened. I just kind of like that. I didn't even realize I was sleepy. I was just like I was in the movie and really watching it, and then it was kind of like I blinked, and then like I literally like when I opened my eyes, it was like I was really confused because like what just happened? Like I couldn't. It's just like I just knew. The doctor said it might make me a little sleepy, but I didn't expect it to make me like.
well, how are you now?
I'm fine now. Now I watched the end of the movie and everything. I woke up and like watched the rest of the movie and everything. And I kind of shook myself awake. I got some caffeine and everything. Guys, I wasn't expecting it to have that effect. I haven't had any. What's it called? It's a medication I've never taken before. I can't
What's
remember,
it
but
called?
yeah, it's a stupid name. It's like Lambada or something like that. It's got something like that song, like the Lambamba or somewhere. It sounds like something like that. Like what is it
It's
called?
an
Like
antidepressant.
it's supposed to be. Yeah, it's supposed to be for some sort of antidepressant thing. It's supposed to help with symptoms it's supposed to be a mood stabilizer, I guess, or something like that. Let's see here.
Oh,
Let's see here. Where's the medications? There it is. Yeah, so like yeah, Latuda. That's what it is. Loricidone. So it's new to me. So I don't know. We'll see if that does any. We'll see if it's improvement or not. I don't know. She was like that. She was either that or or saying she would try to be like a little Lamictal, but she could. But I was on Lamictal. I was on Lamictal for years. It never did anything. It never had any effect at all. I could like whenever I stopped
they
taking
have it
it.
listed as an antipsychotic
Yeah.
and
So it's a
for
little bit to
bipolar,
it.
and also for bipolar depression, schizophrenia, and bipolar depression,
Which I don't know
which
what
is
I do. Like
manic depression, which you don't really seem like to me.
yeah, I don't have, and I even told them when I was younger, whenever I was younger, I had a lot more manic. I was a lot more manic with my depression stuff like that. I'd have like those real high highs and like the real low thing, kind of like the up and
Oh,
down thing. When I was younger, but I haven't. I mean, like
did
even
you have you taken medication for it,
I mean, I've had a
like
doctor
your
say
whole life, or did it just stabilize on its own?
no, it's mostly pretty much stabilized on its own. I mean, even like I was a little bit worse back whenever I was doing the I I I started taking some of this. He put me on some medication for it. My old doctor did when I was working for Amazon. I think a lot of that was because of like my extreme sleep pattern was it got changed so much. I was doing those extreme like 12-hour shifts, and then I have to like make myself sleep and all this stuff like that, and that kind of I think that did put me a little bit of a. But I wasn't. My mood swings were never as wild as they were when I was younger. As I was younger, it was like some of it's almost like teenage hormonal type stuff or something. I don't know because I would really get like really like super excited, happy, manic, and then go right and like crash right into one of those like like crying episode type things. Like when I was younger, I used to do that shit a lot. I haven't done that in a
I'm
long
reading
time.
about it now. You might get breasts.
Oh, good. Yeah, I love me some titties. What can I say? Not Latuda, it's Latitty, I guess. No, yeah, that's a good thing. Uh, no, but anyway, but I still watch the rest of the, still watching the. I felt bad because like I actually was in the movie and I hadn't seen it long enough where I could remember everything in there, but I did really enjoy the movie nonetheless. Watching it, I'm gonna put it on my Plex server and probably give it another watch the next day or so because I was surprised. I remember I was surprised how much I did remember of it, to be honest, because it's been a long time since I saw it. But I might have seen it on television or something like when I saw it. It might have been
I
like
don't
on.
think I ever watched it growing up, like when it came out. I caught it as an adult way later. Because as a kid, it had no interest to me at all.
It wasn't. I was very weird as a kid. When it came to movies, like I watched. I remember specifically my grandmother whenever I was like 8 or 9, like renting that movie alongside the movie, a couple movies I picked out, and I sat and like watching that movie with her. I mean, I've seen it since then. I've seen it since I was an adult. I have seen it. I saw it like 10, 12 years ago. I think it was on cable television. It was like it was like something that came on like one of those not HBO or something like that, like TBS or something like that. It was like came on like a regular TV network, and I remember watching it then. So this is the first time I've like seen it like as an adult with like and not like on like it was like censored with commercials and stuff like that too. So it's the first time I'd seen it like in this context, and so I really did think that the Donald Sutherland's really great in it. I mean, that guy's great.
Yeah,
He's
he
really great in everything.
too, and all of them. Timothy Hutton, too, like his range.
Yeah, Timothy Hutton does a really good job. I mean, like it's weird. I don't think, and I've seen Timothy Hutton in other movies since this movie came out and he won the award and everything, and I don't think he's ever been that good again. I don't say he's bad, but I don't think he's ever been as good as he is in this first film. It's like it's like this role really was like made for him or something. It's later. It's weird. Like later on in his career, he ended up playing more like just like kind of like generally kind of almost like evil asshole type characters a lot, and a lot of like I'm not thinking of him. It's somebody else. But I'm trying to like when I say it doesn't like he doesn't even look like Timothy Hutton to me in this movie because I'm so used to seeing Timothy Hutton in other movies where he comes across a lot less. Let me see here. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. I'm getting confused. He's so young in this movie though. I forgot how young that guy was whenever he won that for a teenager. I forgot that it was like a
Yeah,
teenager.
that was his first film.
Yeah, and I forgot that it was like that he won as a teenager. It's crazy. I only look. There's a picture of like him holding his Oscar. Man, he looks like a 12-year-old in that picture. That's crazy. He really was super young. Let's see, like what other movies has he been in since then? Like because I've seen him in a lot of movies over the years. I can't think of like what.
Yeah, I can't
See, like,
remember either.
I look at the Wikipedia thing here.
Looking
Man,
him up.
I can't even like I don't even recognize the names of most of these movies in the most recent list. Let me see here. Going up.
Wait, they have a TV series of SWAT?
No, SWAT. Really? Yeah, I didn't know that.
It just came out. It's 2023.
Yeah, look at that.
That might be worth. Oh, there's the 2017. Wait, what? Why does it say 2023? Oh, because it ran. Oh, okay. It started in 2017 and it ran all the way to this year.
What's the SWAT show?
And they're gonna have a 7th season next year.
He's been in 2 episodes of it. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like,
I'm sorry. I got distracted by that.
Well, I got confused too. So I got confused, but it said 2 episodes. I was like, "There's only 2 episodes of the show, though. How's that possible?"
He was in How to Get Away with Murder. I don't remember him.
I never watched that show, so I did watch. I watched Haunting of Hill House. I do remember him being in that. He was pretty good in that, actually.
How to Get Away with Murder, like the first season or so, was good, and then they just kept getting desperate with the plot. Like they had to keep doing crazy and crazy plots to top the original plots.
It's
And
it was like it's a
getting
really great
ridiculous.
really great one season concept that doesn't really translate
Yeah,
well.
I'd say it's a really great one season concept.
Kind of like I remember watching the first season of Prison Break, and that show was really good in the first season. Like, I mean, it was kind of goofy in a lot of ways, but still, like it was like a fun kind of goofy. But then they end the season with them actually doing the prison break, and they get out, and the show just keeps going. And it's like, well, it's not really about it's like, the whole structure of the show is like structured around like him planning this huge this giant prison break thing, and then there's no prison to break out. So what are you doing anymore? It's just like you know, the
Yeah,
show itself had that feeling too of what's like we don't really know what we're doing here, but
that's
network
exactly yeah, that's exactly how it was. They didn't know where to go with it after that, and they just kept doing like hokey plot hooks to keep the
yeah.
suspense going. Twin Peaks kind of got lost in that a little bit before they found their footing in the second season toward the end.
I don't think the second season two of Twin Peaks is as bad as some people do, but yeah, especially
I,
the
I don't
second.
either, but there is a lull. It does hit a valley and kind of some meandering for a while. You
Oh
could
yeah,
tell they're like trying to find a new footing.
it's the one episode that always sticks out to me is the episode when like what I can't remember even the character's name right now. But like you know like the young teenage kid with like the boy the motorcycle jacket guy. I can't remember his name right now.
James.
Yeah, like he was like the
Oh,
boy
where he
with
goes like to that
yes
house with that.
exactly yeah
Yeah, that was such a
such a weird
that whole
episode.
plot line was
Anything.
such a distraction to me.
Yeah,
Like it was okay, but it took away from the larger
yeah, I definitely
like
did.
atmosphere of Twin Peaks.
Yeah, that is like the scene. That's the episode of that show that always stands up in my head of when like how Twin Peaks really had gone off the rails a little
Yeah,
bit there.
that went on for like probably 4 or 5 episodes too.
Yeah, like and the first season is only like what 7 or 8 episodes, and like the second season is like
Yeah, 7. Well, there's 7 if you count the pilot, but I think one of them is 2 hours. So
right.
it's 7 or 8, depending on how you
It,
count them.
it probably would have benefited quite a bit
Because they
from not.
started it halfway through the season. It premiered in April, I think.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it was a mid-season replacement show. Yeah, actually, looking through his list, the movies he's been in, he's been in a surprisingly. It's really not that many movies. I mean, there are movies here I've seen that he's been in, but man, he really hasn't been in that many things. I really, I'm like, and most of the movies he's been in have not been hits either. Like, I've seen The Dark Half before.
Is
I've
that the
seen,
Stephen King one?
yeah. It's one that was directed by George Romero, the guy that made Not
Oh.
Living Dead and stuff.
I had a friend that told me that Stranger Things was good.
It's okay. I enjoyed the first couple seasons of Stranger Things.
Because he said because of the 80s, because they capture the 80s so accurately that for nostalgia reasons.
they do in the first couple of seasons. I don't know. It lost me somewhere in season 3. Not even because the show was bad, just because like life stuff kind of got in the way, and and it's one of those shows that after I had I just got I don't know. It never drew me in that much, I guess, to the degree. It's very similar to like Stephen King, like Stand by Me or
I liked Stand By. I don't like Stephen King at all as an author, but I liked
It.
Stand By Me.
Is there similar to It and Stand by Me in terms of like the kind of like the
I liked
atmosphere?
Carrie.
That
I like Carrie.
And Carrie's great on its own terms, but like most,
Probably because of the Brian De Palma directing.
exactly, yeah. I mean, like most Stephen King adaptations are usually good because of what they depart from, because of how they depart from the books, not because of how they stick to them. What you got, Shawshank Redemption, which is really a very very short.
Yeah, I like that one too. That was good.
And you got but then you have like Stephen King only has one movie that was written and directed by him, and it was the incomparable, the masterpiece that is Maximum Overdrive. So
What is it?
Maximum Overdrive. It must be Maximum Overdrive, man. It's the greatest cars coming to life.
Wait, I still didn't hear it. What?
Maximum Overdrive. It's as I'm saying, it's the greatest cars coming to life and killing people movie ever. It's a movie where all cars and actually all electronic appliances suddenly become sentient, aware, and start trying to kill people.
Ooh, I'm scared.
No, seriously, like someone's blender attacks them and shit like that. Like,
Did he do Dolores Claiborne? Not Dolores Claiborne. Misery.
yeah, well, yeah, he wrote the short story that Misery was based on, but I mean that was Ron Howard that made that. It was more Ron Howard's thing than anything. I mean, he wrote The Shining, even though the book The Shining has nothing to do
Stephen
with
King wrote The Shining.
Yeah, the
I did
original.
not realize. I had.
Shining
I never knew that. Like until just now, I did not know that was a Stephen King story.
Stephen King.
I've never seen The Shining all the way through. I've seen enough bits and clips, but I have not sat down and watched.
Well, you don't. I know you don't really like scary movies.
Yeah, that's part of the reason.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. See, I've never really gotten scared by a movie. That's why I don't really like. Like the scariest movie I've ever seen is probably The Descent to me, but it's not because of like the horror elements. Because I actually have a fear of being trapped in a cave. Like even though I've never gone spelunking or cave diving or any of that shit like that. But like I like something that's ever since I was a kid, I always thought something was really terrifying with the idea of being like in one of those cave things and like a cave in type thing where you know that you can like you could see the light the other side, but you can't get out type of thing. Like there's something about the claustrophobia of that. Like everything about that idea just like
I love caves. We used to go play in the caves around Vegas, outside of Vegas.
I mean, I've been in a couple of caves, but I've never really been in any just like wild out in the wilderness caves like that, or come across any. So,
and they have caves up here that I've been in.
Yeah, there's a lot of them up in the Pacific Northwest, aren't there? Yeah. I think that's where The Descent is set. If I'm not mistaken, it's actually set like up in the Pacific Northwest somewhere.
Which one? What?
The Descent.
Oh, it was filmed up here.
I think it's based in. I think it's and I take that back. It's British, isn't it? I was thinking it was based in the Pacific Northwest because that's what it looks like. It looks like the Pacific
Northwest. I'm not gonna say it right. Hertfordshire in Scotland.
It looks very like Pacific Northwest-ish up there, but anyway, yeah. It's just like the picture.
But it's set in Appalachia.
Oh, so it is set there.
So yeah, it's a British show set in Appalachia, or the character's British?
No, the director is British.
Oh, okay.
I think one of the characters is British, but it's like one of the few movies about that actually has one of the few horror movies that has fairly well developed like characters to it too. It's just these 4 women, but it's really like it's the first half of the movie is just kind of like is really well made. The second half of the movie is kind of a monster movie, so it's not really as interesting. But the first half of the movie is just like the tension of just like the idea of like going on this like caving adventure thing, and then like there's a cave in, and then you're trying to figure out if there's any way you can get out by like because instead of going because you can't get back out the other way you came in, you're trying to figure out a way forward to go out, and it's just I know that idea terrifies me, but anyway, and also the fact that the movie has a great color palette of like just like red, white, and black is like the whole color. There's no real color outside red, white, and black in the whole thing. It's just like this like it's so dark in the cave, and it's lit mostly with like red flares, so it's pretty cool. I don't know. See, so like horror movies they never really creep me out. So I don't have.
They're either really scary or really stupid, like comedies. So they either make me laugh or they are so scary I can't even watch them.
I would think The Shining would be more one you'd find more like a comedy, kind of like The Exorcist, because I think because The Shining is very silly to me in a lot of ways. Even though I like The Shining, I think it's from a filmmaking perspective, it's really cool. It's got a lot of really great visual stuff in it and everything. But it is kind of, to me, it's very cartoonish and over the top. Like Jack Nicholson's Jack Torrance isn't just unhinged. He goes way over the top with it. Turns into this almost very similar to Anthony Hopkins as in Silence of the Lambs, which is to me is like, I mean, after watching the series Hannibal, trying to go back and watch Silence of the Lambs is almost impossible because like I can't even like take Anthony Hopkins even remotely seriously. He's so much of a Looney Tunes character compared to like Mads Mikkelsen's Hannibal. So I don't even know why people think that movie. People think that movie's scary too. I don't know why people think that movie's scary. It's like the whole movie to me, Silence of the Lambs feels much more like a comedy than a horror film to me.
I didn't find it either one. I got very little out of it. I think it was a melodrama. Yo, Chris, Jack Talcott's streaming now,
Mhm.
and that Wesley guy is on.
Wesley guy.
The one that came on our stream.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, well, he must have come.
He's making the panel rounds.
Somebody said that. I can't remember if it was Adaptable or Neurojack. There's somebody said to me on Discord something about that guy being like kind of making the rounds. He's been going to any panel that will let him on there to go.
Yeah,
and, like,
well, I wonder if Flo snatched him up because he seemed to enjoy him, and
yeah,
now he's on Talcott.
Well, good luck to him. Yes, I had no issue. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't want him on the panel every day, but I have no issue with somebody coming on him and spouting off whatever they're talking. I just like it didn't make any sense to me, but if he had managed to make more sense, it would have been a lot better. Just because I really couldn't understand what he was trying to say. It was really generalized conspiracy schizo stuff. So I don't know. Yeah. I can't remember what the guy said now. I just remember him coming. I just remember him just kind of like saying a bunch of word salad stuff I couldn't really make out, and I was trying to parse it somewhat, but then we were wrapping up, so whatever. Now, yeah, he was kind of trollish though. He was kind of a little bit close to taking over a little bit, trying to talk over everybody a little bit. So that's true. Anyway, but yeah.
Because they were doing that on Rowan's panel, I think some of the Christians come and try to proselytize and save souls. Like it's part of that Christian mission to spread the word and convert people.
Well, if they, if they really
He's giving his testimony.
Yeah, well, it's what Lou Matami supposedly is doing too. So.
Yeah, he's
while being like cracked out on like whatever the hell he's on, and
yeah, he's so inspirational. I'm sure he's going to convert.
Yeah, I know. I like that one time I was on Machine Show and Machine insisted everybody go to Tommy's panel. I lasted where they're in. When I went over there to it, I was like, okay, I'll give this a chance. I'm going to give this just a chance. And I went in there. I clicked on the link. I logged onto it, and I sat there and and it was just like as the term I recently became aware of it. It was just a constant spurg spray.
So wait, not only did Tommy come on the show and he didn't just hijack Machine's show, he actually took Machine's show over to his show.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, actually, like he didn't really manage to hijack Machine's stream that much at the time. It was actually fairly. He was actually fairly controllable in that sense. Like he would try to jump in, but I and other people kept pushing back against it, and so like we were keeping him from actually being able to control or take over the show, because me and whoever else were on there we weren't having it. We just were. I think it was me and Hank actually. Both me and Hank were both we're just like cutting him off, and like we were trying to continue what we're doing. But then Machine for some reason was like, well, because like I guess Tommy kept like typing to him in the chat. It's like, I really want everybody to come over to my stream. I want to come to my stream or something like that. And for some reason, Machine was really depressed that day. I mean, he even said so. And he was, and I guess he was just tired or something. And he was like, yeah, I'm just gonna wrap up and we'll go over to Tommy's stream. I was like,
oh,
and I pretty much said like, well, I wasn't, and like, because Tommy had already left to go start that stream, and then he kept messaging back to Machine saying, come over to my stream, come over to my stream, come over to my stream, and Machine did it for some reason, and I was like, okay, I'll give this a chance, and I was over there for maybe, I don't know, 15 minutes of him and this old lady both like spurging back and forth at each other, and just like,
was it Denise Meto?
Probably. I don't remember. I was honestly, I mean, I wasn't giving it that much of a chance, to be honest. I was tuning it out pretty hard as soon as I got there. That's the first time I'd seen Tommy. I had not, because for some reason he's on camera on his own stream. He doesn't go on camera on anybody else's. So I saw him on stream, and like as soon as I saw him, I was like, yep, that's a drug addict.
Counterpoints is on right now with Brianna Wu, another person I can't stand.
Oh. Yeah, yeah, she's more tolerable these days than I used to find her. I don't like her much myself either, but
She's just
you
she's
know,
a typical leftist. Like it's like typical leftist talking point. She tries to rationalize
but
nonsense.
she has become a lot more rational, and I've seen her have conversations with people I would not have expected her to have conversations with, where she actually was. She was on Stitch and Adam, and she was
Really,
not she was not intolerable on there. I was
I
not.
think I think I think almost any guest that's been on this show is better than Brianna Wu. So if they're having her on the show, they could have any one of us and get a better conversation than I think they would get from Brianna Wu.
I think so too. I mean, like I said, I yeah, I agree. Basically, that's it. That's basically all I say. Is I agree. I think she's not someone that I.
She's like a leftist clone. There's not I didn't find anything original about her. She just kept trying to rationalize the same leftist talking points that I hear all the time.
She first came to any kind of notoriety as during Gamergate in the first place. So anybody from Gamergate.
Oh, she was involved in that?
Oh yeah, she was one of the big Gamergate.
Who was the main girl? Was it Anita Sarkeesian?
Well, Anita Sarkeesian ended up getting most of the thing, but it wasn't. What's the girl's name? Shit. It was Brianna Wu.
They were aggrieved feminists.
Yeah, and Nina Sarkeesian actually her thing with feminist frequency actually predates like the actual like Gamergate thing, but then she kind of like she included herself in it because it was Zoe Quinn.
It looks like they like try to pick fights that they don't really need to pick. Gamergate, there's no reason for Gamergate to affect anybody unless you're looking for a fight and you're going to insert yourself into some drama and then manufacture and inflame it. Otherwise, you could just do your own thing and let other people do their own thing. But for some reason, feminists can't do that because they have to look for battles that are not really battles and turn them into battles. That's why we were talking earlier today about like finding things to worry about.
Yeah, but you have to see this. You have to look at the screen here. I'm sorry. This is like this. You just look up Gamergate, and I misspelled it too. I was typing with one hand, and I missed it, and like it just came up like the wiki. This is the Google page for Gamergate, and it literally says Gamergate harassment campaign, which is not. I mean, it was a controversy certainly, but
it turned into one after they provoked enough people.
Sure, but like look at the way this thing. This is so. It's like this is literally from the Wikipedia article. In many ways, Gamergate was the most important movement in gaming, but like Hitler winning Times Man of the Year, that doesn't mean the movement was very good. Like this is.
This is from Wikipedia.
Yeah, it's from Wikipedia. I mean, granted, Wikipedia is edited by anybody that wants to, but this is the most biased fucking shit I've seen.
Right, and nobody's challenging it in the edits.
Doesn't look like it. I mean, I haven't gone to the edits, but I don't see. No, it usually usually if someone's challenged it, there'll be like some kind of asterisk or something like that.
I don't know much about Gamergate because I'm not a gamer. I just know it. I've seen feminists do this over and over with different groups and communities where they go in and they find something to get upset about and start having the vapors and trying to recruit people to their cause.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was also where Milo Yiannopoulos came from too. That was his first big thing.
Milo came from Gamergate?
Yep.
I wonder if there's a good documentary on it.
I will say Short Photo Taco does a really great breakdown of it. Very similar to what he does with the breakdown. He had a really good breakdown, deep dive into like the whole history of it and everything that happened.
Gamergate, the untold story. Oh, Sitch did one.
Yes, Sitch. Actually, I think Sitch was actually involved.
Look at this. Mentis Wave has an article debunking Wikipedia's article on Gamergate. So he did a YouTube video in response to the Wikipedia article we just looked at. I'm going to put the link.
Doesn't surprise me one bit. Yeah, it's pretty bad. this Wikipedia article is the most biased article I've ever seen on Wikipedia. Like blatantly biased. Like there's absolutely zero objectivity to this. It literally is like listing everything from a one-sided.
I'm suddenly this is my new rabbit hole for some reason. You said otaku.
a short fat otaku. He's like he's a short fat
Yeah.
otaku. He's just a YouTuber, but he
The
goes all
future of Gamergate, or is that the one? Or
I'd have to look it up. I haven't seen it. Let me see if I can find
because
it.
it looks like he has several about Gamergate.
No, yeah, because he kind of came from that too. That was his first big, that was his first big like thing that he ever got known for too. So, and
Oh.
he
Well,
even
we need a new scandal so we can come out of something
yeah, for real, right?
other than like the Illumitami toilet bowl scandal.
Yeah, that was not a good. That's not a good one. I think it's the Gamergate Revisited one. I think it's this one that I watched from earlier this year. But I think there's another one I watched before that where he kind of went. I mean, he's like he didn't go over it like he didn't go over it at the time. He doesn't have any videos left from like back whenever he was then. But like that, I think that's the one where him and he kind of it's like another gamer another YouTuber kind of like interviews him more or less about him.
Zoe
And,
Quinn, Milo Yiannopoulos, and the Gamergate
Yeah.
drama. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna add that one.
It's a pretty good like interview conversation to check out. And I guess because he was involved in it, and so he has a lot of he goes over all the various like a lot of detail like drama stuff in it. Like he's not too proud to like make slightly drama content, but he doesn't get into like the weeds too much. So
I'm not either.
Yeah, I know.
If anybody wants to come on and make drama content, come do it.
I just think it's hilarious that the Gamergate is listed. Gamergate has a parentheses harassment campaign, and underneath it has the dates of August 2014, 2015. There's this target women in the video game industry, attack type, online harassment campaign, victims, Zoe Quinn, Anita Sarkeesian, Brianna Wu, and others, perpetrators, internet trolls, particularly from 4chan. Motive, misogyny, anti-feminism, anti-progressivism. Inquiry.
I'm anti-progressive. I'm anti-feminist too. So that would be me. Y'all got something to say? Let's see. What are the details of it?
They have that little box there. I've never seen that on it. I didn't know that there was a template for how to break down the facts of a harassment campaign.
So it started with this Zoe Quinn character. Oh yeah, she made that Depression Quest video game. Okay, that was 2013.
And then that was something to the effect of like whenever the Depression Quest came out, it got all these it got a bunch of good write ups and everything. It was like a free web based basically it wasn't really a game. It was a like a choose your own adventure book kind of.
Yeah,
thing.
it was text based,
Yeah,
and it got a backlash from gamers who saw it as political intrusion into gaming culture. First of all, okay, nobody owns culture, so it's like I'm gonna defend her right to make this Depression Quest game and have it be absolutely nothing to do about gaming culture. So they're doing the same thing I'm accusing the feminists of doing.
Well, but
they're worried about something that has no reason to affect them, and they're picking a fight that they could easily just leave alone and keep playing their games.
I agree with what you're saying there if that was the case, but the thing that matters, the fact.
And then she got rape and death threats.
Okay, what happened is that she got all these. What happened is that she had all these. She got all these like really glowing write-ups from major gaming journalists that were basically like saying that Depression Quest was like this amazing thing or everything, and everyone that played it was pretty much like it's not. Basically, we're saying it wasn't even. Basically, the people that played it were saying it's not even a game. Like why would you? They couldn't understand like why IGN and other publications would give it all this attention when it's like a 10-minute browser based novel about someone being depressed. And then
but how is that political?
It's not. It really wasn't political. People were mad because then
that's
they found
Wikipedia
out because then her boyfriend who broke up with her came out like with this like kind of like this online thing of like basically saying how basically accusing her of sleeping around people with gaming journalists to get good reviews for the game is basically what she was accused of. She was basically
that the reviews were not legitimate.
They were not legitimate. That she literally.
So far, I'm on her side. Like
supposedly, yeah. So, well, it went way beyond this. I'm just saying that was the spark that lit the whole fire. was the fact that her boyfriend came out and basically accused her of basically sleeping around to get these reviews because no
Oh,
one
her
would pay.
boyfriend accused.
Yeah.
Oh, he made a blog post on their relationship and breakup
Mm-hmm.
that include a lot of their personal messages, and it falsely implied that so her boyfriend kind of like went after took all their business public.
And then Brianna Wu and Nina Sarkeesian inserted themselves into this and made it much worse. Is what happened. Like
because if Anita Sarkeesian's name's on it, I can believe that completely.
Yeah.
So if the gamers had stayed out of Zoe's business in the first place, it would not have happened. But if Brianna and Anita had stayed out of Zoe's business afterwards,
it would have blown over and it would have gone away. Yeah. Yep.
Okay,
yeah, no,
so
don't be wrong.
It does sound like some drama, and the similar thing happened with Elevator Gate.
Yes, it was very similar to Elevator Gate.
Involved.
It was very similar to Elevator Gate, and like most of the people that actually cared about, most of the real trolls that covered it or whatever, the people trolls that were involved in the harassment part of it were mostly children too. Because there were actual kids like little teenage boys that were actually upset about the idea about it. Really didn't have they really were mad about like the fact that gaming journalists weren't being honest with their reviews and stuff like that. They felt like betrayed by IGN and stuff like that, like because they weren't being honest.
What if they were being honest? What if they really thought it was a good game?
Maybe they did. But like they gaming journalism had a lot of things like that happen before, where it was found out later on that gaming websites got paid to give good reviews to games that people all thought were terrible and stuff like that. I don't really
like who cares? How does that? They even doxed Brianna. I don't support that either. Who cares if somebody made this game and some journalists gave it a positive review? What does that have to do with your ability to enjoy the games that you like?
It doesn't.
It's like poor boundaries. They have poor boundaries between themselves and this girl and her game.
I agree. I mean, I've never defended Gamergate. Gamergate itself was a dumb thing, and it's amazing how many people got a start in media.
Well, Wikipedia's saying it's the most important event since Hitler or something in the online world.
Yeah, it's the most important event in most important in movement in gaming, but much like Hitler winning Man of the Year, it was something.
I don't care about gaming in general because I don't think gaming should even be a movement. It's a hobby. It's an activity people enjoy. There shouldn't be a movement or drama around it at all.
I'm not arguing with you there. I kind of like although I find myself I can't seem to get myself to play a video game for more than 5 minutes these days. So I don't even care about games that much at all. But I find myself I still watch occasionally like YouTube videos about gaming or something like that, but usually about retro games or something like that. But I just can't. I don't know. I can't play them anymore. I get lost. Like me and Liv have talked on here, but I lost my taste for it. I can't focus on it for more than 5 seconds. I get bored immediately, so I don't really play them anymore. But it was weird back then. I was confused by the whole thing every time it came up on any kind of thing. It was weird. It was the term Gamergate was spoken of like they talk about what was in Harry Potter where like no one will say the name Voldemort or something like that. Like this fear of like summoning him or something like that. It was kind of like that. Like people would go out of their way to say anything to describe the thing that is Gamergate without saying it, because if people like searched and found that you'd mentioned Gamergate in some way, shape, or form, these trolls would show up on your fucking blog or whatever and just like inundate you with harassment nonsense or it's not really harassment, just like where people are defending Gamergate, all that stuff like that. It was very weird. It was a dumb thing, but Brianna Wu came out of that. That's where she and she was insufferable.
So before that, she was a nobody. She was just a game designer.
She was somebody that worked in the game industry, and she inserted herself into Gamergate somehow. I can't remember how she basically she did the Me Too thing. Like Zoe Quinn was was up there, but Brianna Wu had this. She was special because she's trans, so she was a trans woman that was being harassed for being a trans woman in video gaming. So
I forgot about that she was trans. So yeah, I'm gonna watch these videos and catch up on it. But so far, it sounds like the women. I don't want to side with the feminists, But
No,
so
he-
far, it sounds like they might have a point that these gamers were being little trolls.
some of them probably were. I mean, there was definitely some trolling and harassment that went on. I wouldn't doubt that one
They were
bit.
doxing people. They were giving rape and death threats. Where they could have just been playing their games.
Yeah, it's questionable how many of those threats and everything were authentic and not just fabricated by the people that were claiming they happened. Because there were especially like people like Brianna Wu and stuff like that. No one even knew who she was whenever she started claiming she was getting death threats. All of a sudden, she came onto the scene saying like, "I'm getting death threats and rape. That's all things she do." And no one knew who she was, so it was like, why would they be harassing her, kind of thing. And there's lots of other things to it like that. But I mean, I it's not a story I ever really cared about back whenever it was happening, and I was more of a gamer then, and I thought it was stupid back then. The whole thing, I was slightly fascinated with it because I was like, why do people care about this? It's like, who cares? Gaming journalism? How is that even an important thing at all? And I like I said, I liked the video game. I like video game stuff, but I don't give a shit about gaming journalism though. It's not important to me in the slightest. Like the integrity in gaming journalism is not something that actually like affects my life in any way. And but some people, but children, teenage boys, they were the ones that cared about it.
So I have to keep in mind that this is a teenage thing, right?
Well, I didn't realize it. That was what clarified Gamergate for me about a year after it really hit its peak and died down. Like I was working this theater up here with an employee at the theater who was like around 18, and he was just graduating high school, and but he was still in high school when I first started working there. And I read this thing about Gamergate online, and like I was on my phone, and I remember walking over to him asked because he was like a young teenage gamer, and he was really super into games like a lot. That's what me and him talked about video games a lot. And I was like, Josh, man, like what do you think about this Gamergate thing? Is this silly or what? And he's like, Gamergate? Like, wait, you mean that shit all the 14-year-olds like are talking about all the time? And I was like, holy shit, that is right. These are 14-year-olds. That's why. These aren't adult men like getting super mad about gaming journalism. These are 14-year-olds who can't afford to buy their own games that like are upset because like, their mom might buy a game based on like a gaming journalism thing, and like it might be not the game they want. This is what they came down to. And once I realized that, it came in a much sharper focus. So, but all the adults that inserted themselves into the whole story, they're the real villains of the piece because they really were just exploiting the anger of a bunch of frustrated 14-year-old, pubescent boys that are mad about their video games journalism, and it's very silly. But I can't believe how many. Like Sitch from Sitch and Adam, he was somebody that was, I don't think he was like a media figure, but he was like one of those people in the forums and stuff back then. Short Photo Talker was like that too. That's what we got.
I'm gonna watch the Sitch thing, the Mentis thing, and the Short Photo Taku thing because I more or less trust them to give me a balanced take. And there's something called the Serfs. Who are they?
Oh, the Serfs is they're the leftist side of it.
Oh, okay. Well, that'll give me
that's some context. Serfs, they are insufferable though. You remember the guy that was on Tim Pool that was like defending?
I don't watch Tim Pool.
If there was a battle with people a while back around the same time I first met you in Paul stuff, like the people were talking about it. It's like this. Tim Pool had this one of the guys from the Serfs on there, and this guy from the Serfs is just he's just insufferable, man.
Was that the one that was rationalizing anti-capitalism or something?
He was one that was rationalizing basically abortion up to the moment of birth.
Oh, no, I don't remember. I remember this really annoying guy that Paul reviewed the video on his show one day. It was from Tim Pool.
It's probably him. I can't remember. He's like the guy's known as like such and such from the Serfs. Like, what is the guy's name? God, he's so annoying. He's just an idiot, though. I mean, he's an idiot, and that's really it's. I think. I mean, his TikTok. I mean, he's actually. I mean, it's Lance. Lance from the Serfs is who it is. Yeah.
Oh, I think that might have been him.
Yeah, it was probably him.
Yeah, I didn't care for him at all.
Yeah, he's not someone.
He was obnoxiously ignorant.
Yes, he is. He's extremely obnoxious and ignorant.
And yeah, in any case, uh, but yeah, that's but so you have the surfs covering, or I covered it. I can only imagine what their take on it. They're going to take the most extreme like feminist side of it all the way down the line. So
Well, I'll see what they have to say.
well, I mean, I like about Short Fat Otaku is that Short Fat Otaku is not at all. He's not a. He tends to like his much like us. His opinions tend to fall more in line with a lot of like conservative opinions, but he's not a conservative. Much like us, you know, he's a lot more liberal, and he believes in liberalism, and he's much more. He's a centrist, basically, just through and through. He's not at all he's not at all a conservative, and he's not at all a lefty. He's very centrist and very well balanced in his opinions and things. I think he's actually one of the few people I trust to be somewhat objective about things like that, because he's like I said, his breakdown of the Chaz thing, his whole like his like point step by step.
Oh, he did one on the Chaz. I was looking for some of those the other day.
No, yeah, his breakdown on the Chaz thing is my favorite of anything like that he's done, and also that just in general that
wait, what?
Yeah,
Fuck,
real Chaz has never been tried or something like that.
That's demonetized.
Yeah, it's a re-upload, because it's a re-upload. It got put down, so he put it back up on his old.
That's the same guy.
Same guy, yeah.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to watch this one too.
Yeah, it's long, but it's totally worth watching. I mean, and like it's a great. It's actually a really good, just like a documentary, basically about everything that happened in the Chaz situation, and it's just good overall. See, yeah, well, that one got taken down too. Damn it! I tried to did it come up for you? Because I just tried to.
Yeah, no, it
worked for you.
Yeah, I'll put the link.
I guess it's just the short. Okay, it's the one from his original channel. I tried to click on the link from his original channel. It's on the demonetized thing, though. Yeah, that's the one you gotta look. I don't know why they took it down. But. Yeah, because I watched it not that long ago, because when we were talking about the Chaz thing. After that, I rewatched that just like to get a refresher on refresh my memory about it, so like that. And he's got a great. It's just a really good and really fairly entertaining documentary too, because he goes into all the details of like everything that, and yet I mean, he's sympathetic too. He doesn't look at it strictly as just a laugh at the ridiculous of it. He's sympathetic towards the people involved in it, and he knows that some of them were
I'm not. If you had seen the people, I'm not sympathetic to them at all. They're street crusties.
Right, and no, and he makes fun of them plenty too. But I'm just saying, but he doesn't come across as being a complete like I'm saying he's not that cynical, and not as cynical as I guess you could be. You could easily be a lot more cynical than he was.
I mean, they took over a police station and drove the cops out of their building. I'm not sympathetic to them at all. They're a bunch of little wannabe anarchs. And the thing looked a mess. Like it looked like, well, the homeless people have taken over all the parks, but it looked like a larger park with a larger collection. It looked like Occupy Wall Street, but with homeless people and street punks, and not less organized.
Did you see that Tucker had Alex Jones on?
No, but I don't keep up with either one of those. I've tried to watch Tucker. I know Paul's a fan of him. He's so boring to me. I can't keep my eyes open. He's just bland. He's like a boring white guy.
That's more than fair. I have felt that way about him before too.
I don't like my first, because I never really watched him. So my first reaction was, what is his appeal? Why do people watch it?
It was mostly that he was as high profile as he was, and he was like the.
How did he even get high profile?
I know his show just got really popular.
But what was carrying the show? Because it could not have been his personality.
I guess some people liked his personality. I never liked it myself, but I mean,
I didn't think he had much of one.
He doesn't really seem to myself. I don't understand why people think he's so evil either. Like people also on that left, they
no, I don't think he's. I don't either. I don't think why they think anything about him.
See what else I saw. I saw on like the news ticker thing earlier. I saw something from Fox News where like the Satanic Temple leader challenged DeSantis to a debate.
Oh yeah, about the saying Donald Trump. I think he's just trying to exploit a drama moment too. But then so is DeSantis about the Trump making the Satanic Temple a legitimate religion.
No, it's about the display getting torn down. Is that not what?
Well, DeSantis stepped into it when he tried to pin the legitimacy of the Satanic Temple on Trump. He's like, Trump's the reason it's even a religion.
Oh, okay.
And Trump had nothing to do with it. That's there. In fact, Lucian even says in that CNN clip, he's like, it never came across Trump's. The IRS applications don't even come across Trump's desk, and I doubt Trump would even know what to do with it if it did, or I doubt he would even be able to read it if it did, or something like that. Which that sounds more credible to me anyway. So Trump didn't go and personally like hand approve the Satanic Temple's application, which is what DeSantis is making it sound like. It was the IRS doing its normal job that it does with all the applications that come across.
I mean, I figured as much anyway. I didn't really think Trump had anything directly to do with it anyway, but yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. I saw a couple of things in the news ticker earlier that I thought that looked kind of interesting, but I didn't like. I wasn't on it very long, so I was looking a little bit see if I saw anything else. I was like, I think something about there was something about Discord they announced that they're considering a policy to start banning people if they continue to dead name trans people on Discord. It was really
what?
weird. Yeah,
and not leave it up to the individual mods.
Yep.
Well,
I'll send you the link to
we
that.
better start making a backup plan.
Right. I know. I have no idea how they. I thought Discord servers were somewhat
dead naming was not a thing until this generation. No trans person cared if you knew their old name or used their old name or like knew that they used to be some other name. They didn't care. It wasn't even dead naming. They didn't even frame it as resurrecting a dead part of their identity.
Yeah.
They had a very healthy like relationship to their past self or their birth self.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the fact that people even see it as dead naming or misgendering is a statement about their own fragility and mental health than it is about what the other person or society is doing. And again, it's that looking for drama. It's like trying to find drama when there's no reason to. If someone calls you the wrong name or the wrong gender, you could just not say anything and just continue on.
I heard that like Matthew Perry died recently, and apparently the cause of death was released, and it was apparently linked to use of therapeutic ketamine.
Really?
Yeah. So that's interesting. He's like, I've been hearing
in a therapy session, because I thought you only used it with a therapist in a session.
If you're a celebrity, I bet you can get it to take home with you if you want. I'd have to imagine.
So he got a ketamine over, like just using ketamine.
Yeah, he was using ketamine. It doesn't say that much about it.
That's one drug I've never had a desire to try.
Neither have I. Lindsay used to do it back when she was younger.
The little gay boys in the clubs would do it, and they'd be in their K-holes, and it didn't look fun at all.
I know. It's just like you just kind of like locked inside your head. Like, what's fun about that?
Yeah.
I never tried it, but I
and it was a harsh tranquilizer. That didn't sound fun. Like, why would you want to do a harsh tranquilizer? I don't know. It's not a drug that ever spoke to me.
No, it's literally the drug they used to put cats to sleep with, to euthanize cats. Whenever they euthanize a cat, if you take your cat in for euthanization, that's what they do. They give it an overdose of ketamine. That's how they put them to sleep. That's what it's originally known for. I guess they probably dogs. I guess too, but it's mostly done for the cat euthanization drug.
Yeah, that's not a drug I would think to do. Like, hey guys, there's this cool drug that vets use to put animals to sleep. You want to try it?
Right. Yeah.
And it was a club drug. That was the weirdest thing. It was like a drug to do at the clubs when you're around a bunch of people.
It's very, very weird. I think a lot of people probably. I think Lindsay said something about. I think she used it because in a lot of ways because it's like the exact opposite of ecstasy. So like it's like people would be rolling on ecstasy all night. They'd use the ketamine to kind of balance the ecstasy out, so it wasn't like it kind of like bring them back down a little bit without like totally killing their ecstasy high or something like that. But I never raved. I've taken ecstasy before, but it's only three different times, and I've never been to a rave or anything like that, so I don't have any real experience with that.
Okay, I'm reading that Discord article. It covers dead naming and misgendering, and it says it's part of their ongoing efforts to ensure that it remains a safe and fun place for people to hang out. Blah blah blah. How is that unsafe? How are you threatened by somebody on a chat program that doesn't even live near you, and there's no physical contact calling you a different name or gender? How is that affect your safety?
I have no idea. It doesn't. No. It's. I mean, it's especially since like my understanding of the way Discord worked was that like I mean you know some people set up their own Discord servers and everything like that. So maybe if you're on their servers, I guess I understand that. But if you're running your own Discord server, I did not know that they would have. I did not realize they would actually have.
How do they monitor though? Like unless they use, is it bots?
I'm guessing that they must have built-in some sort of built-in like monitoring type system to, or either that it's all self-reported type stuff, like when people report such things. I have no idea. I did not. It's just I can't. I did not realize that was a platform that was centrally controlled like that. I did not know that. I thought that a Discord servers that you could put one up yourself and totally handle. You know, because you can put one up yourself where like nobody has access to it except for like people in your intranet if you want to. If you don't have to put it on the internet, you can put it in the intranet only in a building for an office or something like that. But I guess that's not true. So. Yeah, like I also saw that Twitch apparently put out some policy thing where they were going to allow quote unquote artistic nudity.
They're banning slurs. They're banning. Okay, who's going to police this? Anyone expressing contempt or disgust toward members of protected groups, and their list of protected characteristics like this long.
Yeah, it's bizarre. Yeah,
it's illiberal and un-American.
I agree.
Gender identity, housing status, national origin, race, refugee or immigration status, religious affiliation, serious illness, sex, sexual orientation, socioeconomic class and status, source of income, status as a victim of domestic violence, sexual violence, or stalking, as well as weight and size. If you express contempt or disgust toward any of those things, you could get banned. And who decides what constitutes contempt and disgust? Well, at least Liberty won't be able to badmouth billionaires anymore.
Somehow I have a feeling they're not going to come down very hard on that one. I doubt it. Yeah, it's apparently, I guess this is somewhat motivated by GLAAD, I guess. I know they mentioned the article pretty prominently because GLAAD also points out that the biggest social networks today, TikTok's the only one that explicitly prohibits intentional misgendering and dead naming, but so they're praising Discord for its call for social networks to update their policies to recognize dead naming or target deliberate misgendering as hate speech. So,
I think I hate the mentality that grown adults need that level of safety and need other people to police it for them. That you can't just see somebody say something that you don't like on Discord and just brush it off and continue on with your chatting.
Especially in
or
private.
even block, because in the AOL days, you could block or ignore.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you had to do. If somebody was saying something you didn't like, you just block, you just ignore. You don't even have to see them.
Yep. I mean, I think it's just ridiculous, like from so many angles. Because I mean, first of all, like most of Discord should be private or are private to some degrees anyway, and then so on top of that, then you have just the fact that people. I mean, okay, so on one hand, the same people that are pushing for government overwatch and censorship or corporate overwatch and censorship over things like this, even in private servers and stuff like that. Those same people they want no censorship of any book in any libraries that are available to grade school kids.
Yeah.
Like it's totally
they're
fine
not
to have
consistent.
sexually explicit books for that are available to children, under like 8-year-olds.
So I don't respect them. I don't respect them as intelligent people. They seem like emotionally demanding children and narcissists. Speaking of narcissists, which is what we're supposed to be talking about, it seems narcissistic
Yeah, no, it is. It's very narcissistic.
and very like lack of self-awareness and very not adult. It seems infantilism.
Mm-hmm. No, I completely agree. I mean, I've seen it myself. Like as someone who like a lot of my management experience that I had before I did, so like when I was training for Amazon, so that was kind of management experience too. But most of my management experience with dealing with people was I was mostly a manager of movie theaters, and movie theaters mostly your employees are mostly teenagers, and so high school kids and stuff like that. And if you treat high school kids with the way you expect them to kind of act, if you kind of treat them at a certain level, the way you expect them to act, some of them are certainly going to like, are going to be little shits anyway. That's going to happen. For the most part, most kids will rise to the level you treat them at. If you infantilize them and treat them like immature little, like, like tyrants or something like that, they will act like that. They will act exactly as much. They'll give you exactly as much respect as you give them back. It's just they're still in that state where their brains are still developing and everything, and they're still malleable in that sense. And it's far better.
That's why it's maternalism. It's a codependent mother-child type relationship. It doesn't foster adulthood.
Yeah, you have to, and I feel like with children in general, even smaller ones. I've always talked to kids and like especially once they can start talking and stuff like that, like with Clover and stuff like that. I never like really. I mean, when she was a baby, yeah, I babied her. I mean, she was my baby, but I mean, but as she got older, I didn't really baby her as much, and I always talked to her talk to her more or less the same way I talk to an adult. But I would use simpler language. You have to come to their level, but you can't treat them like everything they do is like, I just out of like, you can't shelter them to that degree. It's like it just doesn't even make sense. Like if you want them to be able to deal with things.
I think you're setting unrealistic expectations for them when they have to deal with the real world and real people, and that are not part of these little internet walled gardens that you create for them, or these university campuses.
Yeah, it's the whole safe space thing.
Yeah, they're going to be trapped in safe spaces their whole life, like people that live in gated communities or country club subdivisions.
I mean, it's like the whole safe space thing is just bizarre to me. I've never actually seen any place that in real life actually had a safe space type thing environment in it. But I mean, I've seen footage of it, so I know it exists. But I can't imagine actually seeing that or having someone chastise me for being in a place that or saying something where they're like, well, "This is a safe space. This is a place for." Like, yeah, it is a safe space. You see anybody getting stabbed right now? I mean, like, what are you talking about?
Well, I think I told y'all the men's groups are becoming safe spaces. Like the grown men in the men's groups, the men's movement, are now trained to keep a space safe. And when somebody's getting emotionally upset, they can call safety, and then the conversation stops. And that's. I'm looking for grown adults that can have conversations without having everything be.
I mean, it would be one thing.
Be safe, made safe.
It would be one thing if it was a constant normal.
And it's emotional safety. It's all emotional safety. Like, what the hell is that? It's somebody that said something that hurt your feelings, or offended you, or irritated you some way, and that's lack of safety.
it's one thing if you're like, someone who's like doing like that TBE shit where like they're just like someone's just like just yelling at you and calling you slurs and stuff.
I've never seen that happen
I mean, but
in any of these groups.
you said I had it with TBE on the stream though before.
Oh, toilet bowl. Even that, like, doesn't like I don't feel unsafe because of that.
No,
I feel
I
feel like sad for him more than anything. I feel pity.
Yeah,
But I don't feel like my safety is in jeopardy because there's some troll on YouTube yelling at people.
I don't mean that it infringes anyone's safety actually, but it does. I do find it obnoxious and annoying, and like I mean I could understand if that was a constant thing where everywhere certain people went, like they were just getting like just shouted down and stuff like that. But
yeah, if there was an Illumatami on every corner shouting people down, but even Illumatami, yes, it is obnoxious and annoying. But I have the ability to ignore him or take myself to some other stream. I don't have to stick around and listen to him.
Exactly.
And the hosts have the option of deplatforming him, and for whatever reason, they choose to keep him on, so they lose the people like me and Destroyer and the other people.
It's not even
that
about
are looking for something more elevated than Tommy. And I told you the other day, Flow State even took a poll on should I keep Tommy on or kick him off, and 2/3 of the people said keep him on, that they wanted to see him.
Yeah, I know. It's sad.
And none of that made me feel unsafe.
No, it doesn't make me feel unsafe. I was saying I would be looking for a solution. My point was that if I would be looking for a solution if it was like one on every corner, like you just said. If it were just a ton of people like that, just shouting everyone down where you.
Well, in certain cities and neighborhoods, there is one on every corner. You just don't go to those neighborhoods,
right?
Or you learn how to have a thick skin and ignore it. I don't pay attention to strangers at all on the street or on the bus. If they're like yelling something at me or trying to talk to me aggressively or whatever, I just ignore them. I don't even have to engage with them.
I was just trying to think of a circumstance in which like something like that would even be feasible as a possible would even be needed, like in a situation that would even be possibly needed. And I really just can't think of any kind of situation where someone really honestly, and especially a college aged adult, would need a safe space. I just can't imagine a good one. I was trying to, and now I that was the best I could come up with. Was like if I had a world full of TBEs and Illumitamis everywhere, maybe I would want like a quiet room or something where I didn't have to hear all this shouting. But that's the best thing I can come up with, and that's not a good. It's not a good reason for it. So. Anyway, but yeah, narcissism though. Like let's talk about narcissism. I mean, I do think that Mary. After us talking about it and stuff with the movie, at the beginning of the movie, like I thought it was pretty nice how like they don't introduce her character as being awful right away, right? The first.
I thought she was awful from the very first time I saw her on the screen.
Well, really, just like when they're in the theater.
Oh yeah, no, not when they're coming out of the theater, but you barely see her. Like that's a group shot, but. When they're in the house, I think. Oh yeah, the first time is when they're for breakfast, and she throws away the toast.
No, well, there's a scene before that too. There's one scene where right before that one, and then the next scene is the toast thing. I just thought, but I thought that was like that first thing of her putting the toast in the garbage. That was like the first like little hint that there's something off here, and it kind of the rest of it kind of creeps in more and more quickly throughout it. So it becomes it. But I thought it was nice and subtle how like they didn't just the very first time you see her on screen isn't her like being awful, because a lot of times when there's a character like that, the very first time you see them on screen, the first scene they're in, the first word they say is like for example, like what a kind of a similar like awful villain mother character would be like Boogie Nights, which I had on in the background the other night.
I've only seen that one once. I don't remember
at the very beginning of it. At the very beginning of it, the Mark Wahlberg's character's mother is like this, like I don't know if she's supposed to be like a hateful Christian or something like that, but she's like even before he goes into being in pornography or anything, she's like yelling at him and calling him a deadbeat and saying that that he needs to get a job and all that stuff like that. I mean, he's a different job because she doesn't like the job he has, and she thinks that he's being, she's calling him all these names and everything. She's just like being really awful and like we have no context for it. So the first thing you see is his mother is being abusive and terrible. Like, it's very over the top. It's for the most part, I think that movie's pretty decent, but like that's it. It's much more cartoonish and over the top than most of P.T. Anderson's work. But
You know what movie I like? One of my favorite crazy mamas in the movie is Wild at Heart,
oh, that's a great one. Yeah,
and that's her actual mom too.
Mm-hmm. No, that's a great movie too. I love
Like
that movie.
she's crazy from the first scene. She's crazy, and she doesn't let up ever, not once. There's not one scene where you see her normal.
Have you seen the what's the one the Joan Collins the no wire hangers thing?
Oh yeah, Mommy Dearest. Yeah.
Mommy
Oh my
Dearest,
god. Yeah, I've watched it like 10 or 20 times. They used to play it at the
Great.
gay bars. They even had a remix of it where they'd remix the different scenes and they'd have her slap Christina over and over.
Yeah, Faye Dunaway. That's who it is. I got
Yeah,
the yeah.
excellent
As
act.
Joan. Yeah, like I saw that movie a couple of times back in the day. That's a great. I don't know if that's a narcissist mother. It's certainly a great.
Oh god, that narcissist then some.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. No, well, she's a Hollywood. Imagine the ego that you have to be a Hollywood celebrity at that time period.
Like Joan Collins too. Joan Collins was like she was like she was like a soap star and stuff like that. Yeah, it's really over the top.
No wire hangers ever.
The thing is, I don't even think I actually own any wire hangers because I don't think you can buy them anymore. I was thinking of like I was just trying to think to myself. I was like, I actually don't even think I own any wire hangers.
Now they have these really cool hangers that have this like felt covering on them or something. They're like plastic or wire, but they're covered with this, and so your clothes don't stick to the hanger and they hang nicely.
Yeah, I've got those.
Yeah, I love those.
All mine are either like that or they're just.
That was a true innovation. When I saw that, I said they have innovated hangers.
I have to like. I have so many clothes I need to hang up right now. I've been folding everything instead of hanging it up because a while back like Lindsay's closet her closet just collapsed, so I got it fixed again, but I haven't gone back in there and actually hung. I'm afraid to start hanging stuff back up. I'm afraid it's going to collapse again. So
have you finished your pile?
I mean, I still have more in the storage unit, but there's everything that was behind me before has all been taken care of. There are 2 tubs on the other side of the computer screen that are waiting to be dealt with, but they're not as intimidating as that was. But I just had to get myself a break from doing the Poshmark stuff for the day because I was doing it last night again. And it's just so mind numbing after a while. I don't know why it feels that way, but it
sounds mind numbing.
It really is. I mean, it's just it doesn't bother me that much, but like I've been really tired today too. I should have been like doing this morning, this afternoon. I should have been putting some more things up, but it's not just that too because I have to get the stuff from the storage unit and then. I have to launder it all too, and and really and make sure I'm checking for any kind of spots or anything, just to make sure because because some of the stuff some of the boxes were water damaged, but not that badly. Just there's just some of the stuff on the bottom had the water damage, and some of the stuff was all the way, just the whole thing was ruined. And I've been going through all this stuff and everything like that. So I've been I'm like a laundry chemist when I start doing that stuff. I figure out my own stain treatments and stuff like that, and do all this crap, and it just takes forever. I'm so sick of doing laundry right now. I can't. I was never a fan of doing laundry in the first place, but I took it upon myself for some reason to be the laundry master of the household. So it's all on me, I guess. So Lindsay's just never been good at keeping up laundry, so it's not a big deal. I've always been the domestic one between me and Lindsay. I've always been the one that took care of the house, and I don't know, it never bothered me. I grew up with my mom though. Like my mom was she was a homemaker. That's what she did, and I was homeschooled, and so I grew up doing chores and housework things. It's just like I'm just used to it. It doesn't really bother me. I can't do it as well as I used to though because of the vertigo. So certain things like that. If I can't do it where I can kind of sit down or be near something where I can keep myself from falling on, it can be really. That's how I knocked the other two the other day. I was trying to clean them some up.
Wait, you knocked out another tooth?
Yeah, I'm up to 4 now. After I knocked out tooth number 4. Yeah. As I hit my face on the the stairs, they have like the little like column that comes down one side of the stairs, and I was trying to pick this thing up, and I tried to catch myself and slam my side of my face into the thing. The tooth was already kind of fucked up, so it got fucked up from the last time I did that, and so it was already kind of in a precarious position. But yeah, it's okay. I'm not. I've gotten. If anything, it's more even now. Now there's 2 missing on either side, so yeah. Anyway, but I think I was trying to think of some other like I was watching the movie earlier. I was trying to think of some other like really good narcissist characters or characters that are fit that kind of like because hers like the thing that makes that performance from her so great is how I feel like how subtle it is compared to a lot of other.
So, yes, the subtle, and it's more realistic. It's the type of narcissist you would encounter, and it's not the cartoony version.
Yeah, it's not the no wire hangers thing.
It's, like part of the whole movie is how long it takes the dad to even realize that that's what she is, because it's so she pulls it off so well.
Yeah, and it's something that you don't see. I find that tends to be the way in almost everything. In every movie that depicts any kind of mental illness or something, which I think narcissism is a mental illness, at least to some degree. Anytime it depicts them, it never depicts them very realistically or within the realm of reality. They take like the most cartoonish aspects of it, and they blow those up in like caricatures of like that's the reason why even myself, like I had like this really like skewed idea of what schizophrenia was, because I had no idea that it could happen this way or what it really looked like. All I knew schizophrenia was like characters like Mel Gibson in Conspiracy Theory or Brad Pitt in 12 Monkeys. That's what I thought of schizophrenia. Like someone like doing twitching and doing all this weird stuff and talking crazy or something like that. That's what I thought of as schizophrenia. I didn't think of it as being like something that just like people could have in a subtle kind of way. And so because it's never. Unfortunately, we get so much of our information about those kind of things. Unless you spend time around someone like that, you don't really have any way of knowing outside of like movies or TV or something like that. Because it's not like there's like a lot of documentaries about it out there or anything or stuff like that. So I've even heard some people suggest that narcissism doesn't even really exist. So
it exists. The whole dark triad exists.
No, I know it does.
If you count. I think they should add borderline to it, but sadism is the one they're proposing adding to make it a rectangle.
Yeah, I think borderline would make more. I guess I don't fully understand what the difference between borderline and. I mean, how do you define borderline exactly?
I had that experience with that borderline lady in that group earlier this year, and that's when I really saw what borderline is and what they can do to a community. And looking back, I could recognize all the other borderlines that I've encountered, not knowing it was borderline. They're very emotionally hyperreactive, emotionally manipulative. They'll react to any little slighter thing. They have like this persecution complex where they're always the victim somehow, and somebody's always doing something to them, and they have extreme emotional reactions to nothing, like to the tiniest, slightest little thing, and they'll go around and they'll try to enlist other people into their drama and turn people against each other. Like this lady tore up the whole community. It was that victim, perpetrator, rescuer triangle, and she became the victim, and she got people to come and rescue her, and she set me up as the perpetrator, and I had to leave the group. And so they enmesh people, whatever their inner drama is, they enmesh people into it. And so their internal dynamic becomes the group dynamic. Like it completely hijacks the group dynamic. And like she had been in and out of therapist office constantly, and she always had a reason why that person's a bad therapist. They didn't know what they were doing. They don't know how to work with me. Um, it was always the therapist's fault why her therapy was never successful. It was never anything about her or her insight or the work she put into it. And she would just go from therapist to therapist. They go through people like this. And the big hallmark is the idealization, devaluation. Like you're the greatest person they've ever met. You're their best friend. Nobody understands you like nobody understands them like you do, and they're so close and intimate. And then like the least little thing, and all of a sudden you're the worst person in the world. You're a monster, and they start turning everybody against you. So you go from this to this, and
It's like-
anything trigger it, and it's instant.
It's
They
like
have a hard time seeing like the gray areas in people. So you're either all good or you're all bad.
So it's almost like bipolar, but externalized towards other people.
Well, bipolar is more like the manic depression when you have, well, and there's different types of bipolar. There's 1 and 2, but one of them is where you have the manic episodes and the depressive episodes. But this is different. It's more emotion based. They're very high in neuroticism, and they have no emotional regulation at all, and they're hyper reactive to the slightest little slight like it. Oh, and they have this pathological fear of abandonment. So anything that indicates that you might slightly not like them or disapprove of it for any reason sets them into this like inner torment, and they're constantly doing these dramatic things to restore people's like faith in them so that they don't get abandoned. And because they are always getting abandoned because they can't control themselves. They're
Right.
constantly like Glenn Close and Fatal Attraction was one of them, and what's that other one we watched recently? The Judi Dench and Notes from a Scandal.
I didn't watch that one with you guys. I haven't seen that before.
That's
I-
another.
I'll check it out.
She's a crazy lady. Yeah, we
was
should
looking-
watch that one soon. I think
Sure,
I know what
I'm looking at a list of movies that feature characters with narcissistic personalities.
that one's probably the best depiction of borderline. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's not the greatest movie, but it does like her watching her portrayal of this character, because the movie like it gives you her inner monologue, and then it shows how how other people are perceiving her and how she's acting around other people. But then it'll narrate her inner thoughts of what she's really thinking about these people the whole time. You can see how ugly and hateful that like borderline mind is, and how she's reacting to every little thing that nobody else is even noticing.
There's a list here of movies with characters with BPD, and like most of these are pretty dumb. The first one's Hulk from Avengers, which I think that's just silly. But
That's
yeah, that's a silly one. But the one it mentions here is Clementine from Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Now that's a pretty good. I think that
I'd have to go back and rewatch because it's very possible. I know it shows up. There's a male borderline, but I think it manifests differently. Like the borderline I'm talking about shows up like in proportions in women way higher, and it's possible that Clementine is, and I'd have to go back and rewatch it because I didn't know what borderline was at the time, so I didn't know to look for it.
right, yeah.
And that's another one Emerald wants to see anyway, so we really should add it to the list
sure
to
definitely.
watch soon.
Yeah, well, the first character I ever heard about having that is was the main character in the TV show Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, and like her character gets diagnosed officially.
I didn't see that one either, but just from the title alone, I would say probably.
And it's actually a pretty like I mean that's the only time I'd ever even heard of a character. It's the first time I've ever heard of that being called ever heard that as a diagnosis before. I never heard of someone being called borderline before that was that TV show. But it didn't make it entirely clear to me exactly what defined borderline exactly. You explained it pretty well now, but I think that with you explaining it like that, that does fit that character from, and it's actually that is a great show of mental health, by the way. It is, but I don't know if you'd like it because it is a musical to some degree. Every
Oh
episode,
no, I would not like it.
every episode has a music, but they're funny though. It's a comedic musical.
I assure you, I would not like it. Don't either do a show and like a drama and act out, or do a musical, but don't break out in the song in the middle of a drama or
Well,
a
the whole
comedy.
thing is like the musical sequences are in her head, or in her head. She's like she grew up in musical theater, so she and like one time an episode she like fantasizes a musical sequence in each episode. And like she has one of the musical sequences is about her getting her diagnosis and stuff like that. How and it's like towards the last couple seasons, she has like one big thing about getting a diagnosis and how happy she is that now she finally has a diagnosis for what's wrong with her, and then she doesn't really understand what it is, what it means, and all that stuff like that. The show is actually really good. I think that it's worth watching. But yeah, if you hate musicals, then by all means, it may not be your thing. But it's not a constant musical. It's just like it just has a musical.
No, I hate the mixed genre even more.
Yeah, it has one musical scene every episode. Like I said, it says some of them are really well done.
And honestly, I've dealt with so much real life borderline. I don't even need to see it on TV.
Right?
It's not a pleasure watching experience for me. It's just gonna remind me of all my experiences with the borderline people. What are some other movies on that list?
For the borderline or the narcissist? Because there's several lists.
Oh, you pull up. Well, do the borderline first, and then we can do the narcissist.
See here, where they most of these are pretty dumb. I mean, one is like these are characters that are like blatantly insane. A lot of cases, like Harley Quinn from Marvel, like that shouldn't even be on here. Anakin Skywalker, I don't think that really that counts at all. Jessica Jones from the TV from the Marvel TV show, I can sort of see that.
I don't leave off the superhero ones because I don't know any of those.
Okay, BoJack Horseman is probably I can see that. But I think he's more depressive than he is a. He's probably more a narcissist and more depressive than a BPD from what I've seen of that show. Elsa from most of these are dumb. Mickey from Love. Now that one does actually that one actually does probably fit that. That show is terrible though. I would not watch it.
Don't know that one either.
This list sucks. This list is stupid. The Clementine is the only one I think that it's maybe a good. Is actually
okay. What are some of the narcissist ones?
Which surprisingly, there's a lot of lists like this. See, the narcissist ones it's a much longer list. The first one on the list is Mommy Dearest. Actually, it's the first one that's on the list.
Oh.
The second is the husband in Gaslight.
Oh yeah.
Third is Meryl Streep's character from Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah, I can see that.
See, the Jessica Lange's character from some movie called Hush that I've never seen. It has Gwyneth Paltrow in it, I guess. I've never seen that movie.
I haven't seen it.
The wife character from Gone Girl. That one, that kind of makes sense.
I haven't seen it.
Sleeping with the Enemy. I don't remember that movie at all. But
that's a good. With the husband, he was so crazy, and Julia Roberts.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I've seen it before, but it's a long time, really long time. There Will Be Blood. Daniel Day-Lewis's character in that, which I could see that one. He definitely does fit that role. I've not seen the remake of The Invisible Man, but it says the husband character in that is. Streetcar Named Desire. I've never actually seen that before, so I can't comment on that one. Arthur from Arthur. Oh. I guess I can do that. Scarface. I guess I don't know. He's definitely not he's definitely kind of a narcissist, but he's also a cartoon character, basically, that movie. So, the Gordon Gekko from Wall Street.
Sure, yeah,
he is. The boyfriend, Christian Slater's character from Heathers. I think he's just insane.
Oh yeah, I can see that. Oh, and Rachel Getting Married. I forgot about that movie.
Yeah, Rachel Getting Married. That's a good one. That's on a different list than the one that's the first list. That's the one I put in the chat.
Okay.
It's got the same movies on it, pretty much. It doesn't have that one. It doesn't have Rachel Getting Married on it, but it has most of the same other movies on it. It's like
I forgot all about that movie. That'd be another one to watch.
Breaking Bad. Yeah, Walter White from Breaking Bad. Yeah, he's definitely a narcissist. Yeah, the rest of these are pretty dumb, honestly. Like it's like one of the teachers from Harry Potter and shit like that. Like who cares? Who cares? It's not Patrick Bateman from American Psycho. Once again, kind of but more insane than a narcissist. You know, I mean, he's more like a psychopath. So talented Mr. Ripley, once again, more of a psychopath. So I don't know. Yeah, it seems to like. Oh, this one works actually. Nicole Kidman's character To Die For actually that
Oh
is,
yeah, yeah,
that's
I remember
definitely a
that.
pretty good character. Definitely is.
And there's
Uh,
also Serial Mom, but I'd say that's more psychopath too.
yeah, yeah, someone who's like absolutely there's like I mean because narcissism is more like I said anytime it's someone who's like going to be like a serial killer or something like that. I'm not going to count that on that list because like whenever I've seen it and I've dealt with that. I mean that's what like that girl that used to live here was that she acted out in a lot of ways that are very recognizable. I found out after some time that was very were very much like narcissistic or NPD traits, and I didn't know what that meant before that. That's the first time I ever learned about it. So um, there's a lot of lists about. I didn't expect to find this many lists of characters with about narcissists. Like it says Citizen Kane, the Orson Welles given Citizen Kane as a narcissist. I thought that makes sense certainly. Whatever happened to Baby Jane? I don't think I've seen that. This is actually.
Oh yeah,
Where Joan
that's I'd say that's more psychopath too. But yeah, she's definitely.
Let's see, Natalie Portman's character in Dark Swan. Okay. Maybe
Oh,
so.
Black Swan. I wouldn't.
Yeah, I
I wouldn't
think
say
so.
she's narcissist.
August Osage County. I don't think I've ever seen that movie. I don't even remember hearing about that.
What's it called?
August. It says August colon Osage County from 2013. It says Meryl Streep's character displays many classic NPD traits. I've never seen it before. Never heard of it. Talented Mr. Ripley. Maybe once again, kind of psychopath, like I said. Yeah, I mean, they don't listen like Zoolander and Anchorman. It just kind of like makes the whole. It almost like makes the whole list just silly at that point. It makes me question the writer's entire view on that at that point. So I'm just like, that's not. Those aren't the same. You're putting your for lists. They're supposed to be like like trying to show you like good depictions of it. Like I don't think those are good depictions of it. I think a good depiction requires some degree of subtlety. Falling down, like the main guy falling down, says that he's not really. That's not what I see considered as ANPD. But it lists Traffic on this list, which is a great movie, but I have no idea like what character they're talking about as having NPD. Like, I have no idea. I don't remember a character being like really narcissistic in that movie. So Goodfellas, yeah, tons of the characters in Goodfellas are narcissists. That's certainly true. The wife in American Beauty, that one, I guess I see that.
Oh, Annette Bening.
Yeah. See, Blue Velvet list. Let's see which character is it saying that about.
Oh, Frank, Dennis Hopper.
I guess Frank.
That's more psycho.
That's a way more psychopathic than I would ever go.
The Grifters is another good one, but they're more.
That is a great movie. Yeah, I mean,
con artists.
Yeah, they're but like the mother in that is actually very similar to like what the ones we're talking about. Like she's so manipulative and so like that's a good movie. You haven't seen that in a long time, man. That's a great movie. That's why John.
Oh, and there's what's her face, Glenn Close and Dangerous Liaison, and John Malkovich, both of them.
Yeah. Yeah, or how about another movie with John Cusack, Say Anything. The girl's father in that is definitely has a narcissistic abusive traits. He's very manipulative, and he literally like, yeah, no, he actually that's a good example of a narcissistic father character, and that's not on this list. That's just one I just thought of, but yeah, that's anyway. But there's like there's a never ending list of lists here, so I'm not going to keep going through these. I did not realize that this topic was that popular to the point where like there's at least I've already looked down two full Google pages, and it's just like list after list. They're all different too for the most part. So
Yeah, I think narcissism is, if you didn't have a parent who was one and grow up with it, then it's a common experience with relationships or coworkers or friends. Like my first ex was a narcissist, and that was my first like real experience of living with and being in an intimate relationship with a narcissist. And I knew there was something off, but I didn't know what narcissism was or anything like that. And that's one of the things that helped me out of it, was learning about narcissism and realizing that that was the dynamic that I was in. And then watching him do it to other people after me. But I didn't know what any of that was before him. So like all it takes is one experience with the narcissist for people, or like with the borderline lady I was saying, it just takes one experience with one of those disordered personality types to like wake you up and put that on your radar.
yeah, it was that's what that girl lived here.
They're also very destructive. It took, like that lady, she destroyed an entire community. My ex, it took me for like over a year to recover and like heal from the psychological damage that was done, because they gaslight you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I
Like,
mean,
they're crazy, man. It throws your head like into you. You don't know what they manipulate reality so well. If you don't know what they're doing, once you know what they're doing, it was all clear, and then he didn't have that kind of power anymore.
no, yeah, I mean, Angie did that to us, and I mean, I honestly don't think I really even if Lindsay had the genetic, she had inherited genetic traits of schizophrenia or whatever that, I don't think that she ever would have gone into psychosis like that if it had been for the gaslighting and the stress that Angie put on both of us being here, just because I think it just broke her, because like it was just like she was constantly just telling us that we were doing things that we weren't doing, and it was just like, just like this constant like barrage of things that were they were ridiculous things, like things that were just like, it's not even possible, things that weren't even possible for us to do. But at the same time, like it's like when you just getting told these like impossible, crazy things all the time from someone that you have genuinely cared about, and you've invited into your home and your life and stuff like that, and you've given them a lot of love, a lot of you give them all the leeway in the world, and then like for them to to abuse that, or to especially waiting for, it seems like she'd wait for moments that that where everything was like, where she'd apologize and come crawling back and beg for forgiveness and stuff like that, and we would feel sorry for her, and we'd forgive her, and we would really give her, we'd actually forgive her, we'd completely forgive her for everything. And as soon as like our guard was back down, it's like that's when she'd strike again. It was like our guards would be up and like we'd be cautious, but then she would wait until we were open and everything again, and we were no longer putting up our walls or anything about it, and then it would go right back to like the most vicious shit you could imagine. It was really like extremely.
They know how to pace it and keep you on that roller coaster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Here's a couple other good ones here for BPT on this list. BPD, I mean, Girl Interrupted, which I see that Angelina Jolie's character in that. And it says it says both. The main character that is played by Winona Ryder and also Angelina Jolie's character, apparently, which I don't remember that movie very well, but I've seen it a long time ago. It's a movie called Welcome to Me that I do not remember about.
Oh, was that is that what's her face, Kristen
Wiig? Yeah, Kristen Wiig. Yeah,
that was good. I wouldn't say she's BPD. It's more like maybe a little bit. She's kind of just mentally.
There's Silver Linings Playbook, which is that's actually one of the characters actually diagnosed.
Welcome to Me is good too. We should add that to the list.
Okay,
it's a good mental health movie.
Silver Linings Playbook, which is also about mental health to a great degree, and it's pretty good.
I saw that. I remember that one. I did like that one.
see. It lists 13, which I have seen a long time ago, but it's more about just teenagers. I think. I think all teenagers are kind of BPD slash narcissist to some degree. So like, Prozac Nation, which I do not remember at all. I've seen it, but I don't remember a single thing about it. Fatal Attraction, it lists the Glenn, which you said that too. You said Glenn Close character in that. And again, so that list is this list from The Mighty, which is not a list I've ever seen before, but that one's a little bit better than some of the others I've seen on here. I at least I do see that at least Girl Interrupted and Welcome to Me, those are, and Silverline's Playbook are pretty good ones probably that do actually kind of.
Are you able to get these movies? Like, you have a way to get?
Yeah.
Well, look for Notes on a Scandal and look for Welcome to Me. And
I can pull it up right now. Let's see here.
And don't do this at home. Anybody watching?
Well, I'm getting them from a legitimate source.
Okay. I'm sure they're available on Amazon or wherever you get your movies.
I'm just looking for whether it's available in streaming and stuff like that. Yeah, Notes on Scandal is no problem. Let's see here.
You reminded me of another one too. What was it? What were we talking about earlier? Hang on. Fuck. At the beginning of the show. Oh God, it's on the tip of my
greatest enemy. It
might have been a series.
Yeah, well, I mentioned the series Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, but I don't think you'd want to watch it.
It was the one you said it was a single season concept. How to Get Away with Murder.
Oh, How to Get Away with Murder. Okay, yeah.
See if that one's available too, because I wouldn't mind watching that one again. I've only seen it once.
Yeah, I said I remember when people were talking about it a lot when it first came on.
Like, it's what's her name, Viola Davis. That's kind of what
6 seasons of it. Shit.
Yeah, I didn't even finish all the seasons. I stopped watching after probably the 3rd. Yeah, but the first season is a good mystery. We were looking for mysteries to watch. So yeah, see if that one is around too.
Yeah, I got season 1. Yeah, I got that. Yeah, that show's pretty old, so it's a little harder to find.
Old? It feels like just a few years ago I was watching it.
It's old for, well, I mean the first season came out 8.5 years ago. It says so. Older for.
Yeah. That seems like yesterday.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you on that.
Time accelerates when you get old. I'll tell you right now.
It definitely does, man. There's no doubt.
The more it speeds up.
Like I can't even especially after it. I think it speeds up more the more trauma you go through too, because like going through all this trauma in the last recent years, I swear, like I don't feel like I ever, and of course being slightly disabled too it doesn't help at any. It takes me longer to do things that not used to. So like it's really difficult for me to understand like how fast time goes by. So it's part of the ADHD stuff too. But like, I mean, I've always had the trouble a little bit, but here lately, I swear it's so much worse than it ever used to be. Let me see here. Yeah, I'll download Silverline's Playbook too. I see that one here as well. Yeah. I think I don't even know if I have Eternal Sunshine on my Plex server. I should check and see if I have it.
Oh.
I mean, I haven't watched it.
I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube. I have it on DVD, but I don't have a DVD.
Yeah, I have it. It's on my Plex server. I figured it was, but I have it on there. I might even have some of these other movies on there too, like Silverline. I might even have Silverline Playbook on here already. I don't even know. I have like over 2,000 movies on this thing, so. No, I actually don't have that one on there, so. Anyway, yeah, I can take it. I think it's funny that it keeps like that all these lists about BPD keep mentioning of all things Wreck-It Ralph. I'm just like it's like
what?
Wreck-It Ralph, the Disney movie. I'm just like, I don't think this
Oh,
makes me think that the people making these lists don't actually understand what they're talking about at all. You have to really use your imagination to see Wreck-It Ralph as something BPD. But okay, yeah, it's like whatever, man. You gotta have some creative thinking to make that list, I guess, in that sense. But yeah, well, yeah, I found Welcome to Me and all those pretty easily though. So.
well, you want to go watch movies tonight? It doesn't look like we're getting an audience.
Yeah, I guess not. Yeah, I thought maybe somebody would show up, but I mean, I'm looking here. I'm going to look at this one last list here. I'm going to look at the one from IMDb. It's created by a user, but let's see let's see if there's anything different here. Single white female. That definitely. But
What? That's the one with, was it Bridget Fonda?
Yeah, Bridget Fonda. Yeah.
I'm trying to. I know I saw it. I probably saw it at least twice. I'm just trying to remember. It was so long ago. That was 90s, huh?
Yeah.
Early
92.
90s.
92.
Yeah.
See, Monster with where's Charlize Theron.
Oh yeah, Eileen Wuornos. That was based on a true story.
Yeah, it is.
She was psychotic. Like she was psychopath. That's beyond narcissism.
Yes, it is.
She was just flat out psychopath.
I agree with you on that for sure. I don't know that Fight Club also character is actually insane. Not really BPD. Oh, there is a good one though. Okay, now there's a TV show called You're the Worst, where like the female character is definitely
Who's in it? That sounds familiar. Like I might have seen it.
It's nobody that's really been famous for anything else. It was a show that was on FX for a while. It's a good show. It's a really good show, but it's very much it's about like like one of the guys. It's like the male character is a narcissist and she has BPD basically.
Oh.
And like I mean, and so like I don't think it explicitly ever says it, but it's pretty clear that's the mental illness she's struggling with. But because she does all those things that you were saying, like like she's like just like she's head over heels in love, and then she's like then the side thing sets her off and all that kind of shit. So yeah. Oh, or that's another good one. Charlize Theron movie, young adult. Yeah, that character definitely fits that description too. I think more of a narcissist really than a BPD, but still a good depiction of that actually. You've seen it before. It's got Patton Oswalt in it too. It's about this like this fiction writer, like she writes young adult novels or something like that. But she was like whenever she was in high school, she was like prom queen and everything. All that. She goes home because like she has a divorce and like she's like she goes home and treats these people like like they're beneath her and they're garbage and all stuff like that. And she's a pretty awful character, but it's still a pretty good movie. Like it kind of is about her like kind of like learning and becoming a better person by the end of it. But I'll tell you, I don't know why I think about this. I just watched this too. I just watched these some of the show too. We were talking about Veep the other day. Veep is the almost.
Oh yeah, I've heard of Veep.
Almost every character in Veep is a narcissist or has BPD. I think I don't know if there's any characters in that show that don't have that, especially since it's about Washington politicians. You kind of easily see why that would fit that. But yeah, Veep is a show that I think that that portrays that. Selena Kyle, the vice president character, she is narcissist, as much of a narcissist I think of it, and it's actually it's comical, but also at the same time I think she's a fairly subtle depiction of it for the most part. It's not like she doesn't do like obvious over the top like screaming type things as much as she does like more subtle manipulative things. Yeah, it's a pretty good one to look at. If you have never seen it much, like I don't just like there's so many seasons of it. They're pretty short, so I don't know how many episodes there really would be to watch. There was 7 seasons, and each season had 7 episodes or so. So yeah, some of them had as many as 10. Yeah, there's quite a bit to watch there. I don't want to go through the whole show then. I don't know. I was trying. I do have Death of Stalin and from the same guy, Death of Stalin and In the Loop on the server though. Those are both great to watch, and there's definitely characters there that fit that description as well. In the Loop is one that the only thing I problem I have in the loop, because I watched it again the other day because after we talked about it, because I'm trying to make sure it was actually still as good as I remembered it being, and it is really good. It's just that it's really hard to understand. Like it's very hard to understand what's actually happening in the movie though, or like why characters are doing what they're doing at sometimes. Like the individual scenes are really good, but I have it's really hard to like put together as you're watching it like why things are happening, why the things are happening. But that's pretty good though. Peter Capaldi is amazing in it. There's nobody. He's like the best like asshole character I've ever seen in anything. He's just like in most anything else. His character would be so like acerbic that he would be the instant villain, but somehow he's not the villain of the show. He's almost like the hero character by the end of it. And it's really or the movie, and like it's not even like clear really why. It's just like it's something. He's so angry, it's endearing somehow. I don't know. It's very weird. It's like, I guess similar to like kind of almost a Larry David kind of thing, but he's not just grumpy. He's like this guy is like frothing angry all the time, and yet something about him, the way he delivers his lines makes him like makes you not hate him, and I don't really understand why. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, let's just do that then. Since no one's showing up, I just checked. Yeah, there's nobody watching. I guess there's nobody in the comments, so I guess we're on our own for the night. Yeah, we could watch the movie or something for certain. These should I should have these ready to go pretty fast. So.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay. Well, then I will meet you on the Discord.
Meet you on the Discord, man. I'll see you there.
The rest of you will see tomorrow at 2 p.m. And Paul's doing his show at 10:30. So if you want to stick around for that, I'll be there.
I'm as long as I wake up, I'll be there.
Oh, I'm at the audience. I know you're not gonna go.
No, I mean I do. I still like Paul. I just probably won't be in the comments. That's all.
Well, okay. Now I won't know if you're there or not. So.
I mean, I might say something in Discord or something.
Okay.
I don't want to upset the apple cart. That's all. Anyway, see you guys later. Bye.
Okay. Well, take care and see you tomorrow. Have a good Friday night.